So in this video, I'm going to walk through how to become the most in-demand outdoor living contractor in your market without getting more Google reviews, without posting more on social media, or competing on price. All you'd have to do is change one thing about how you do marketing. But before getting into that, let me make a guess here, and it's that your business probably mainly runs on referrals right now. And honestly, that's not a bad thing in of itself, because referrals, they close pretty easy, they trust you before they even call you, and they rarely, push back on price and such. But the problem is that referrals are just other people doing your sales for you, people who aren't in your business. And the moment your last happy client stops sending people your way, the moment you hit a slow January, the moment a competitor moves into your market and starts taking those conversations, then your phone gets quiet, right? And you start doing the math on how many weeks of payroll you got covered, how many guys you can keep busy, and what jobs you have coming in and when. And the worst part about that is that you have great reviews and you have amazing photos of finished projects, but you still end up in these seasons where you don't really know when or where your client or your next project is coming from, because your work and the reviews you have doesn't matter when the referral pipeline dries up, and you don't have any control over when that actually happens, right? Sure, you can do good work and have amazing customer service and stuff, and obviously that brings you a lot of referrals at times, but ultimately it's not something that you can control, right? It's just not. And so if you want jobs to come in consistently without depending on who your last client happened to mention you to, then you need to be able to do one thing, and that is converting complete strangers. In other words, pure cold traffic, people who have never heard of you, never seen your work, and have no reason to actually trust you yet, because then you can actually control the pipeline and decide how busy you want to be. You can stop waiting for the phone to ring and just start choosing which jobs you actually want to take. However, the way you consistently turn cold traffic into $50,000 or even $100,000 jobs is nothing like converting a referral. These are two completely separate worlds. And yet, that's what most contractors try to do. They take the same offer that they may use for referrals, or that they have on their website, which is oftentimes, we build custom pergolas, outdoor kitchens, and patios, call us for a free quote. This is sort of the standard Facebook ad from a contractor. And when you do Facebook ads, you are talking to cold traffic, people who don't know you, right? And so they put an offer like this in front of cold traffic. But here's why that doesn't work. When a referral calls you, they already trust you before you pick up the phone. Their neighbor told them you did an incredible job. They've seen your photos and maybe even, had a beer under the pergola that you built for their neighbor. So by the time they dial your number, the sale is halfway done. Your offer doesn't need to work very hard because the trust is already there. And that's why you can, say something like this to those people, because honestly, the offer itself doesn't really matter. They've already seen your work firsthand. Someone they trust recommended you. And so that is where the trust is coming from. That is where the belief in you comes from. But cold traffic has none of that. Okay, the person scrolling past your ad at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, they don't know you, they don't know your work, and have never spoken to anyone who has hired you. But the first thing that they see is a nice looking photo or video of a project that you did, and the ad says, custom pergolas, outdoor kitchens, and patios. We are licensed and have 20 years of experience. Get a free quote. And this is basically identical to the ad that is directly below yours and the one below that. And so what happens? Well, in their eyes, in the customer's eyes, the one who sees your ad, you become a commodity to them, right? because again, they are cold traffic. They're not a referral. They don't know who you are, right? And so what does cold traffic actually need? How do you convert them? Well, they need an actual value proposition, not premium quality outdoor spaces, not family owned and operating since 2008. Those are things that every single contractor says, and they don't mean anything to someone who has no reference point for your work, like a referral, right? A value proposition means having a clear outcome, having a defined timeline, and a promise with something behind it. So again, like think about this from the homeowner's perspective, right? They're considering spending $40,000 or even $80,000 on a project that is going to most likely disrupt their backyard for weeks, right? The number one thing running through their head is not, I wonder if the stonework will look nice, or if the business, the contractor is family owned, right? What's going through their mind is, what if this turns into a nightmare? Will I be able to get my project done in time for summer? What if the finished result looks nothing like we agreed on, right? Referrals don't carry these fears to the same extent because, again, they trust, or their trust was already built by whoever sent them your way, right? But cold traffic doesn't have any of that. And so you need to address their specific desires and fears in your offer if you want to get their business without having to compete on price, right? And so let me give you a few examples of this, right? Which offer here is more attractive? Offer one is, we build beautiful outdoor kitchens and pergolas. That's offer one. Or offer two, we'll build your outdoor kitchen or pergola in 6 weeks, exactly the way you approved the design, or we'll discount your project by $2,500 and fix any issues for free. It's pretty obvious which offer is more attractive, right? Offer number two here has a super clear value proposition, and it's very desirable, and it even has a risk reversal, right? We'll discount your project by $2,500 and fix any issues for free, right? Handles a very big fear. While offer number one is generic. It's something that everyone else offers, which again, it works if the trust already is there, if it's a referral or a past customer, right? But not when we are, for example, advertising and we are trying to get strangers who, for example, have never worked with a contractor to trust us specifically, to make them give their business to us, right? Because you won't be the only person advertising. You're not the only person trying to get customers, right? And so if we say we build beautiful outdoor kitchens and pergolas, then we'll look just like the competitor from the ideal client's point of view. Now, I wouldn't copy and paste, offer number two, because what offer works depends on your ideal client, your market, and ultimately your competition. And so if you just, took this and slammed it into your ads, maybe it can work, maybe. But if it doesn't work, then it's not because this sort of offer formula, this structure doesn't work. It's because it depends on your market, your client, and your competition. But this same concept of creating cold traffic offers applies to literally any other industry. So let's take weight loss, for example. Which offer do you think would convert best? Again, offer number one, we help people achieve their dream weight. Or offer number two, we help men over 40 lose 15 to 30 pounds within just 90 days while only working out 3 hours a week, or they don't pay. Again, it's pretty obvious, right? Which offer is more attractive? Sure, offer one can work on referrals or people they already know, but never on cold traffic. Like if you had a friend or, a personal trainer that you have known for 5 years and they say, hey, I'll help you achieve your dream weight. It's like, yeah, sure, because you already trust them. But if it's an ad that you are seeing on like Facebook or elsewhere, and they say, hey, we'll help you achieve your dream weight, it's like, it's very generic, right? And so if you can build an offer like offer to or sort of use the same formula, one that is based on your target audience, your market, and your competition, then you will absolutely dominate. And the reason is because no one is doing this. Like, there's so few contractors who are creating offers like this that if you do it, you will have such a huge advantage. It's honestly not even funny. And you might ask, well, if it works so well, then why aren't other people doing it? Well, there are few, but the reason most people aren't doing it is because, like you probably, they have mainly built their business on referrals. And so they haven't had to actually create an offer like this with a clear outcome, a clear timeline, and a risk reversal, right? But if you want to, again, scale, if you want to consistently generate these high-end jobs without having to rely on referrals and make it actually predictable, then I would highly invite you to think about creating a similar offer. Okay. Now, if you want me to just help you dial in your offer and help you drive traffic to it, completely just done for you, so that you can consistently attract high-end jobs without relying on referrals, then book a call with me by clicking the Calendly link in the description, and we'll chat about it. And there's no upfront cost to me, and you wouldn't have to really do anything in the process except just showing up to the consultations and the meetings with the homeowners who are interested in this offer. So, goodbye.